Also, this hour, prices of land and cost of rent skyrockets in Bogatanga and parts of Talensi and Bongo due to influx of people from Bawku.
A lot later, the Narcotics Control Commission destroys some 151 kilograms worth of seized narcotics as part of its renewed efforts to combat illicit drugs. Hello there, welcome to yet another Friday edition of News Central. I am Mawuena Egbeta.
And I am Keminni Amanor. News Central starts right now. Now, there are growing fears salaries and other critical statutory payments for the first quarter of next year could come to a standstill after Parliament again failed to conduct any business after a recall. Key government business, including the passage of appropriation for the first 3 months of 2025, have all not been considered after the Speaker, Alban Sumana Bagbin, again adjourned the House following the absence of the NPP caucus to conduct business. Now, the development leaves MPs with limited time to sit before the elections and after the elections for agreements and possible bills, as well as approval of nominations to be considered. But how have we arrived here, and what matters are of importance? I want to show you some of those issues that are of importance. Perhaps we could do that a little later. But that is the situation that a country could find itself if Parliament does not sit to consider those issues. Let's get on Zoom now and speak to Executive Director of Parliamentary Network Africa, Sami Obin. Sami, good afternoon to you. As you sit back and watch all this drama, the circus at play before your eyes, what does it tell you about the type of representatives that we have in Parliament?
Well, it is worrying, and I think that it is high time that members of Parliament on either sides of the political divide get to realize that continuous stalemate in Parliament will not inure to the benefit of anyone. Both of them have potential of forming the next government. I mean, they are parties, and for which reason they must prioritize the things that will make sure that governance does not come to a halt, and that if either of them gets to win in the next elections, they will still be able to execute the national agenda without any challenge.
Obviously, we have to move into solutions mode. Whose job would it be now to initiate that solution?
Both sides of the divide, I say. You know, in fact, it's a multi-stakeholder approach that is needed now. For both the NPP and the NDC members of Parliament, it is important for them to know that if they are unable to find an amicable solution to the current situation now, before the elections, likelihood is that we may enter into the elections. One of them will win on December 7th, and the other would stifle whatever efforts needs to take place in Parliament between December 7th and January 7th towards even getting, you know, the 3 months appropriation approved. And I don't think any of them need that, both the NDC. Mr. Speaker has a role to play also as the one who holds the balance in Parliament towards calling both sides together. But it's also our expectation that the Supreme Court will expedite action, you know, on its decision on interpreting the Constitution in a manner in which it would be satisfactory, it would stand the test of time, and it would ensure that it calms the nerves. But also, leaders in this country, you know, His Excellency the President, everybody has a role to getting involved in this to make sure that we find a solution to the situation we find ourselves in.
That Supreme Court decision would appear to be the beginning of the end, because it would play a really crucial role in how the MPs decide to go forward just before they end the session next year. What are your expectations of what the Supreme Court, or perhaps you could, take a guess of what the Supreme Court should rule on come September 11th?
It is my expectation that the courts will prioritize Ghana, will prioritize holding fidelity to the constitution of the country. The courts must bear in mind that this is a situation that we are likely to have once every 4 years, because there will be elections, there will be members of parliament who will be aggrieved, they will want to contest as independent members of parliament, and this situation may play out every 4 years. In fact, in the last 12 years, or 8 years, we've seen it play out in different forms. The Mawuena situation in 2016, the Isiama situation in 2020, and now an escalated situation in 2024 with 4 more MPs. This is not going to end anytime soon, but a decisive decision by the court, which is not just taking into consideration the current situation, but looking at the long-term effect of such decisions and its implication on our parliamentary and general governance, will be what my expectation will be. One that will calm the country, one that will settle the matter once and for all, and one that the current Supreme Court will not have the embarrassment of a future Supreme Court overturning it.
I see. Whatever decision the Supreme Court chooses to make on September 11th, it would now, the onus will not lie on the leadership of Parliament to ensure that the country can move forward from the status quo today. What confidence do you have seeing the conduct of the leaders, the leader of the NPP caucus, the leader of the NDC caucus? How much confidence do you have that that could bring a solution, a lasting solution to this?
Well, unfortunately, we all know that the leaders are playing mere politics with a matter as important as what we have, unfortunately. However, the court situation being settled amicably could help a great deal. Apart from that, I think we all need to speak truth to power and get our parliamentary leaders on either sides of the divide, knowing that there is more at stake than just they trying to score cheap partisan political points in what is going on. Hence, we would expect them to do the needful, bearing in mind that Ghana must win in this situation and not just their partisan interests.
I see. And then when you say that we have to speak truth to power, how can the Ghanaian people at this point do that? Well, it would appear we lost that connection with Sami or being there. But we've been talking about the parliament seating crisis today, which is stalling activities of the legislature. We already know that they have reconvened twice. And then they have also adjourned twice indefinitely. We don't know what the future holds, but Sami Obin has been sharing his thoughts on matters. I think Sami Obin is back. Just quickly, you were telling us how the Ghanaian people can now speak truth to power to ensure that their representatives in Parliament end up doing the right thing, whatever the decision of the Supreme Court is.
Absolutely. And we can do that by, just as we're doing. This is becoming a topical national issue. The media is discussing it. We are all discussing it in our homes and hamlets. We as members of the media, those of us in civil society, have to explain to the people of Ghana the true implications if this impasse continues, including what you're discussing on your news bulletin today, the possibility that we will literally have governance coming to a halt and expenditure not being authorized for the first quarter of next year should we have this particular stalemate. And both parties should not assume that they can be able to win this battle as a political party. This is not a political party battle, because like I said from the very beginning, the NDC, if they go ahead to win the December 7th elections without ensuring that this matter is settled before the elections, will have the challenge of having to deal with an MPP caucus in Parliament between December 7th and January 7th next year, who would also not be willing to play ball with them. And if they do not have the numbers, not much decision can be taken, especially in respect of budget for the first quarter. The same applies if the NPP wins the elections on December 7th. And so both parties have a responsibility of ensuring that this matter is settled amicably and it's settled in the supreme interest of the Ghanaian people, even before elections day.
I see, Sami, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us.
My pleasure always.
We can't move away from that and bring you matters happening right now because the Narcotics Control Commission, in a bid to combat illicit drugs, is destroying some seized substances worth millions of cedis. The destroyed substances also include 9.6 kilograms of cocaine, 3 kilograms of ecstasy, 105,000 kilograms of codeine, and 10 kilograms of heroin. In all, the total number of seized narcotics to be destroyed by the Commission today weighs in excess of 151,000 kilograms. George Quenin is there for us, expecting that to be Bondase, somewhere in Bondase where all of this will be destroyed. Let's connect with George right now and get details from him. George, we've seen pictures and videos of these substances to be destroyed, but talk to us about what the officials of the Narcotics Control Commission have been telling you in terms of the rates of seizure, arrest, and the likes in relation to drug trafficking and its trade in the country.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Like you rightly mentioned, I'm coming to you live from Bondasi, and the exercise has actually begun. The Director General, that's Keminni Amanor, opened the exercise, and so what that means is that the items or the drugs that have been seized are actually having set ablaze, and all the officials here are waiting to see that all these drugs are burnt into ashes before we leave here. Like you rightly mentioned, we have all the total number of drugs that are being destroyed weighing more than 160,000 kilograms, with codeine topping the chart, followed by cannabis. But according to the Director General of Narcotics, he says, with exercises like this, it means that you are protecting the future, the security and health of individuals or citizens. So Narcotics is actually pushing for a drug-free society. Of course, people get addicted while they get into drugs. So this is one way or the other to help protect, citizens. But this is a normal routine with, court cases, court cases regarding drug issues. Right after that, what happens is that we return these drugs that have been seized. These drugs that have been seized span from 21 till date, according to the Director General, Mawuena.
Right. Let's hear from him first, and then we'll return with a bit more in terms of what the plan is going forward. I understand we can't hear from him now, but what's the plan going forward outside of the destruction of these 151,000 kg worth of illicit drugs towards ridding the country, if possible, of drug trafficking and its related activities? A bit more background to this, because we know that there's been recent security reports which have detailed this part of the country as wanting to return notoriously as a hub for transiting of illicit substances.
So we have Mr. Ayo here with me, who is in charge of operations and enforcement, and they're also going to collaborate with agencies to ensure that we nip this in the bud and also address illicit, illicit. So he's going to be, and we can pose that question. Moving forward, what is the Commission going to do to ensure?
Hello, good afternoon. Right, this is our work. We've been doing it from time, if I remember, from 1992 when I was employed. We've been doing this from year to year. But the fact is that the drug dealers, that is their work. So as we work, we're also working. So we'll be doing this anytime, any moment. And as I'm talking to you right now, our men are the duty posts, making sure at the maximum best to stop all drugs going out of the country and that coming into the country. So this is our work. And all we need is collaboration from the public, because most of these drug dealers stay with the communities. So you, the public, you'll be able to assist us with information to be able to get them and prevent the destruction of our youth and our future. So we need collaboration from you. Hello?
Yes, sir, just quickly in terms of a bit more, there's this concern about open drug abuses at beaches at night, where you see people hawking some of these illicit substances. How far-reaching are your patrol teams in being able to go around these various spots where it's known amongst a lot of people, but it does appear that for the Commission entrusted with dealing with the sale and trading of illicit drugs, you're often not found around these areas to nip this in the bud?
You know something? Drugs, they are what we call moving targets. Today, you get them here, you strike. The next moment, you find another place and strike. And we continue moving, we also continue following them. But we should have it in mind that if we don't have a strong collaboration from the public, it will be difficult to stop them. And the truth of the matter too is that when talking about drugs, as I've been saying, the raw materials for producing these drugs are part of the planet Earth. So far as the planet Earth is in existence, and also human beings are prepared to get illegal money fast through drugs. And unfortunately, there are souls, poor souls,
right,
who are also willing to be used to do the trade by using the drugs. We're going to have this problem. So we keep on fighting. The best we can do is to reduce it to the barest minimum. That's what I'm saying, that if our patrol goes on, our intelligence at the airport, no, we are at all the border points in the country. Most of the major border points, we are there.
right.
And we also have education teams who go about educating the people, the public, about the harmful effects of drugs, so that we prevent those who have not yet got into it from getting into it.
Right. Just finally, on the citizenry assisting you in dealing with the drug trade. How is it like when the ordinary Ghanaian spots an area, vicinity where illicit drug is being sold? What are the helplines? How do they go about bringing that to your attention to help you in the fight as well?
You know, if you're in a community where this drug is used, you can reach to our office, come to our office, give us information, give us the intel, give us information, and we go out to verify. Because you cannot just tell us and move once. You have to go and verify what he's saying. So
right,
we come and strategize and know how to move. So we need information from the public. That's one aspect of it. Secondly, we also have unfortunately been addicted to the drugs. We also have a counseling unit who go out to the rehab centers. So if you have someone who is using the drug, you can also bring the person, and also by counseling, you can be helped out of it.
Right then. I appreciate that you could speak to us this afternoon in relation to that. That's an official of the Narcotics Control Commission speaking to us as they are destroying over 151,000 kilograms worth of illicit activities, including heroin, cocaine, codeine, you name it what. All of that being destroyed right now at Bondase, where my colleague George Queenin has been stationed and is providing details there for us. From one happening activity to the other, because today is Farmers' Day.
Indeed. Now, this afternoon, Food and Agric Minister Brian Ichampong, as part of activities to mark the 40th anniversary of National Farmers' Day, has joined hundreds of exhibitors and visitors at the Ifua Sutherland Park. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture, in partnership with Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development and Ghana Cocoa Board, launched a 5-day celebration and exhibition where exhibitors in the agric value chain from across the country displayed assorted agricultural products, including food crops, agric machinery, and imports. Let's head now to that exhibition. Noble Crosby Yannan is joining us on this day from here in Accra. Noble, good afternoon to you. Talk to us about how the Farmers' Day exhibition and event in general is going on.
Well, Keminni, if you come to the Ifua Sutherland Children's Park, it's a very peaceful place. What you see behind me, they are some of the exhibitors who have come to the Ifua Sutherland Park, and they're showcasing lots of agricultural products or products in the agric value chain. If you follow me here too as well, you'll find a lot of other products. We're seeing some tubers here. We're seeing some cassava, some yam. We're seeing some processed foods as well. These are potato chips, and they are all foods made in Ghana. If you come towards this side as well, grouped in various regions, we're seeing a lot of very different products. And beyond the exhibitors, there are lots of participants, lots of people who are trooping into the Ifua Sutherland Children's Park to either buy, ask questions, engage the exhibitors, and wanting to get something from themselves. I should also tell you that everything you're seeing here, every product you're seeing here, is a made in Ghana product. The Food and Agriculture Minister, Brian Champon, he was here a few moments ago encouraging the patronage of made in Ghana products. He was more interested in made in Ghana poultry. You know that currently we're only producing about 5% of the poultry that we consume in Ghana. And he's concerned about how government is trying to increase the production of poultry in the country so that we reduce our taste or our desire for imported chicken products. As we're speaking to the media, we can now take a listen to exactly what the Food and Agriculture Minister has been saying. Keminni.
No, Crosby, we'll take a listen to that in a bit, but let's talk about this exhibition. I see that there are a few people there already. Talk us through the exhibition, what is being exhibited, and how people are patronizing, their services so far.
Right, Keminni. So I'll walk you through the various stands. And what we see here is MVV Gary 4-in-1. So this is also a made in Ghana product. We've seen also MV Pops tapioca, served as a snack or cereal. Another made in Ghana product. Beyond the things that we can consume, there are also some farm products. So we're seeing some, if you like, fertilizers, some farming machinery as well. We'll walk you through a couple of them as well. We're seeing some local rice, local cereals as well. We're seeing,
I see.
This is the Achimanta Golden Rice, a made in Ghana rice, seeing some camp oils, black soldier fly, lava oil, some other products from various organizations all trying to promote made in Ghana products. Seeing original white Gary, ingredients fresh cassava.
Crosby, that looks good.
Mix. These are just a few of the various exhibitors who have come here at the Ifwa Sutherland Park. I should also tell you that, Keminni, there are lots of agencies or departments under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Right now, you're seeing the Global Food and Agriculture Food Security Program, the animal production section of the Food and Agriculture. They are also heavily represented here.
Very well.
See right now is also some food products. This is PK Foods Precursor Mix. We'll try to speak with a few of the exhibitors.
And just before you do, Crosby,
materials, or if you like, ingredients, fertilizers that can be used to farm in the country. We'll speak with a few of them shortly. Let's speak with you. That seems to be live on TV3 on News Central. Talk to us briefly, as today we're celebrating Farmers' Day. How important is this celebration for an agency like you?
Well, thank you so much. I work with a company called Ghana Limited.
Okay.
We are agro herbicides and fungicides. Farmers' Day, it's a very important, as we farm, we consume, we eat every day. It's also very important that on a special occasion like this, we celebrate our dear farmers and we give them the encouragement for the good work they do every day to feed Ghanaians. So we appreciate it any time we have opportunity like this, because it's a platform that we get opportunity to play our products to those direct farmers as the major stakeholders. Right. That does not do our products to have.
Very well, Crosby, I'm afraid we'll have to end the conversation here. Crosby and they're speaking to an exhibitor on the importance of this day to them as, contributors to the agric value chain. We can now take a listen to Agric Minister Brian Champon.
Welcome to the Farmers Week. Today particularly happens to be a great day for farmers.
Oh, we apologize for the poor audio there, but Brian Champon there speaking on this day, National Farmers' Day, where hundreds of exhibitors are, showing off their products to the Ghanaian people. They are all within the value chain, from the farm to the processed products as well. Now, that will take us to Regional Hub. So go away.
Well, starting regional hub from up north, the Upper East region, where prices of land and rent rates have skyrocketed in Bolgatanga and part of Talensi and Bongo due to the influx of people from Bawku as a result of the insecurity there. My colleague who's been monitoring the development, Tanko Mohammed Rabiu, says that 100 by 100 feet square of land in Bolgatanga, which costs between 15,000 to 80,000, depending on the location, an average rent rate of a single room self-contained has shot up to 300 cedis. Let's speak to him, get a sense of how residents there are coping and managing this. Tanko, thank you very much for joining us. Talk to us about the reaction of residents to this spiraling of prices.
Okay, thank you very much, Martin. As you are aware of the insecurity in Bawku, residents of Boga have received these people who are coming from the Bawku area with happiness and then with much love. But the only problem is that residents are complaining of the increase in rent and then land acquisition because of the high number of people who are coming down from the Bawku area. Anytime there's a conflict, not because of this time, but it's consistent when there's an issue in Bawku. The moment any issue happens in Bawku, you see that landlords and then landowners cash in a lot using this advantage. And then, Martin, one thing too is that these people who are coming, they are willing to pay anything that they have been asked to pay because they just want to leave Bawku and then have a settlement here for them to have their peace here. So it's made land expensive here. And then I spoke to some residents yesterday, and this is what they have to say.
Let's try and hear from a number of these residents. Like Tanko says, he's been reaching out to, and so Tanko, they are complaining about the prices. What do they want done? Who are they seeking to have intervene in the development within the locality, and then perhaps a conversation as to how lasting peace can get to Bawku? Yes,
what the people of Boga are saying, or their concern, is that because whatever happened to the nose will definitely come to the mouth. So whatever happened to Bawku will definitely have impacts in Boga and its environs, like what we are seeing. So they are appealing. Their message now is for peace to prevail in Bawku. And then they are also, residents in particular are also pleading with landowners and rents, landlords, to at least reduce this cost, because if they want to follow the Bawku people, it will affect everybody because of high cost of living here in Boga due to the insecurity. Right, Tanko, let's listen to the residents that you've been engaging with over the cost of land and rent in Bolgatanga.
If you look at the impact is indirect because of what is happening in Bawku right now. Most of the people are moving from Bawku and coming to this part of the region. And these are people, because they want to settle, they are willing to pay any amount of money as rent. Now because of this, it has brought about the increase in today's rents and even the prices of lands. Because some of them plan to settle here, so they come and they buy the lands at any price they are given. So rent has gone up. Cost of land has also gone up in the Upper East region.
For rent and lands in Bolga, they are very expensive. Comparing to maybe previous years, from 2008 that they started their conflict, most of them too have moved to Bolga here, and some of them, they came in hardship, nowhere to stay and other stuff, so it made them, any amount at all they just mention, they are eager to pay to just get where they will lay their head. And
Tanko, thank you very much for providing those details there for us. That's my colleague Mohammed Tanko Rabiu in the Upper East region, providing a bit more details there for us. We'll stay in the regions, but on the election front.
highly anticipated December elections, the NDC introduces much-discussed entrepreneurship support program for women known as the Soyeya Development Fund. Now, this initiative, highlighted in the party's manifesto, was presented by the NDC's running mate, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, and is designed to empower women economically and enhance their contribution to the community. Upper West Region correspondent Ibrahim Wangara joins us with more on this story. Good afternoon, Wangara. With barely 29 days to the general election, let's talk about the motive behind the launch of this fund. What did they say?
Right. Manifestos and campaign promises play a crucial role in the electoral landscape, serving as a roadmap for a political party's vision and plans should they win the elections. It is in this context that the National Democratic Congress has rolled out its commitment to support women economically as part of its campaign strategy. This initiative underscores the party's dedication to fostering women's entrepreneurship and promoting gender equality in the Upper West region. Sharifa Zakaria is the national coordinator for the Soyeya Fund. She emphasized how the program aims to provide women with the necessary tools and resources to thrive in their businesses and improve their livelihood. Let's take a listen to her.
That we are preparing a fund to sponsor for our women, any woman, those who want to learn trading, those who want to learn any work. We are going to support them to be able to get something and start business so that every woman can get something to be.
Wangara, what else is the party telling the women? Hello, Wangara.
The Soyeya Fund, and he has been encouraging women to actively participate in the electoral process and make informed choices at the polls.
For the past nearly 8 years, our women have been relegated to the background. So we are coming to you, and we have come. We are saying that every woman should be involved in our electoral process. It's no longer the fight of only men. Women constitute majority of our electoral process.
The launch of the Soyeya Development Fund, according to the NDC, marks a significant step in the NDC's campaign effort, aiming to uplift and empower women in Ghana.
I see. Very well, Wangara. Thank you so much for the reporting. Ibrahim Wangara, our Upper West Region correspondent, taking us on our very first break. Don't go away.
You're welcome back to News Central. We're staying on the regions for you this afternoon, where a joint platform of civil society organizations are raising concerns about the possible deployment of the military during this year's election. The group at a press conference in the Volta regional capital of Ho intimates that any of such moves could heighten tension and increase fear among voters across the country. Volta regional correspondent Faisal Abdul Idrisu was at that news conference, is joining us right now with a bit more details. Faisal, talk to us about these concerns and where exactly they are emanating from, these that are being expressed by the civil society groupings.
Well, so if you recall, in the 2020 election, government actually deployed the military. During the time, they were set to be around to enforce the COVID-19 restrictions. That notwithstanding, concerns were rife at the time that these the military who were on ground, the soldiers, their presence alone actually intimidated voters, particularly in the vote trading where the government is thought to not really be, find favor from the people here, particularly when it is considered the opposition's stronghold. And so going into the 2024 election, the CSOs, which include the Community Focus Foundation, Democratic Credentials Network, and also a coalition of Ghanaians without Ghana card, are saying that they are very much aware that there are plans already in place for government to deploy the military once more, which they say started with the deployment of the military up north and within the middle belt to enforce a ban on the exportation of cereals and all other issues recently relating to the dry spell in the north with regards to food security. And so they are saying that this very recent move by government is just part of a grand agenda to deploy the military into the regions, particularly the Volta and some other regions they think are not the strongholds of government, and in the end, to intimidate voters who have the right to vote on December 7th. Richard Kasso is actually the convener for this group and the executive director for the Community Focus Foundation. He's speaking to us.
We have become aware of government's decision to deploy military forces to border towns across Ghana, including Volta, to enforce a ban on exports of grain from Ghana in the wake of the drought-induced crop failures in the northern and middle belts. We consider this move as part of a grand scheme, a grand government-sponsored scheme of ethnic profiling aimed at suppressing votes in opposition strongholds, with a particular attention on the Volta region. For the avoidance of doubt, this similar deployment was done in 2020 under the pretense of enforcing COVID-19 restrictions, resulting in serious voter apathy due to the intimidating tactics by government.
Just briefly, Faisal, on demands they are making, what are they asking for?
So they are asking government and the Electoral Commission to furnish the Ghanaian public with a comprehensive security roadmap as to what to expect during the election as far as security deployment is concerned. They want the Electoral Commission to ensure the timely deployment of election materials. They also are asking government to, if for nothing at all, ensure that the lights are on, particularly in the very last days of the election. They are of the view that if we continue to experience light out, the local parliament do so, it could also mean that people will hide and direct and do other things that probably could jeopardize the very credentials of our democracy. These are the few demands they have been making.
A comprehensive strategy, a strategy that is inclusive, a strategy that is fit for purpose. We don't want this kind of, orchestration in the name of grain shortage or whatever. Come clear, so that we all know that this is what we are supposed to expect during the electionary period. That is what we are calling for. We don't want any government official to deploy military to the region or to any other border town to go and intimidate the people. The right to vote is enshrined in our Supreme Constitution. Why should they deploy the military to border towns? What is the business of military? If you could remember, recently, security experts warned that the military should do their work. The Constitution gives clear mandate to the military.
Right then, Faisal, thank you very much for those details. That's my colleague Faisal Abdul Idrisu, who we spoke to earlier, provided a bit more for us on concerns from CSOs in the Volta region.
Let's get on the campaign trail now. The NDC's presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama, has strongly criticized the current government's domestic debt exchange program, stating that it has imposed severe hardship on Ghanaians. John Mahama emphasized that many citizens affected by the DDEP, as it's called, are now suffering in silence, while the government appears indifferent to their struggles.
Yes, the next president of the Republic of Ghana, the next commander-in-chief of the Ghana process, the president 2023, the transformational leader is in the house. Yes. Jabo! Jabo! Do you want to see the next time for the Hutus again?
We'll bring you that sound clip a little later. We can now speak to Komla Kluche, who's in the central region with the NDC's presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama. Komla, good afternoon to you. What can you report from there?
Well, just like you mentioned a short while ago, yes, of course, we speak last year about the DDEP, but even before that, the economy has been topmost in terms of the messaging to the people. Central region, we know, is a swing region, and the NDC has attached a lot of seriousness to the region. A case, for instance, is the fact that John Mahama has selected his running mate from the region. It's also the point that for a very long time, the NDC has had a long-standing relationship with the region. Almost all the beefs that they have had in the past, and also John Evans and Tamils are from the region, and they know the central region is a decider in this election. But in speaking of what they have done specifically for the Katra area, 2015-2016, John Mahama came under a huge criticism from the NPP then that they had inflated the cost of the Katra bridge. He's been justifying it today, saying that the project is out there for people to see, and what it entails is that the MPP does not have the morale to not talk about it because there was mere propaganda against it. He's equally been speaking and responding to the beef of the running mate to the MPP, Dr. Matthew Poku, for the comments made yesterday indicating that the NDC does not have any good thing for Muslims. He describes it as bigotry. He also said that it should be treated with the contempt it deserves, and that such a comment coming from a state official should be treated with the contempt it deserves and should not be consumed by any. These are the things that divide the people. But specifically on this, he spoke to the Hausa community or the Muslim community on this and spoke in Hausa. But what he had to say is that ignore the false propaganda and you listen to the message of the NDC, which is that of hope, which is that to reset the country. This is what John Mahama has been telling them. Quite a tall order. He has about 5 constituencies doing for the first day, though.
Absolutely. Komla, how about we take a listen to the NDC's presidential candidate?
Ezo, na watwe mu yante asemde na orebia na oye nipa owo onwa na ejuma aye pharmaceutical industry ono and the chairman of Kama Group of Industries Nyame Tonsa Efreno na ansa na saa arehosem ebesi no afie twa mu no abra MPP aban eye nea ye friend debt exchange papa no be kasaye na debt exchange don nea de baaye ne say aban we bobosia saa mebeduru mre bi omutimi ntua biom e free 2018 pem 2021 omoko abrochire ekoji sika $11.5 billion enti ebedu se omutimi tuaka ni biom enti wabo aban bosia ye obibi a friend no bond se wo pese obo aban bosia otimi koto bond no ana woto treasury bill no enti aban beji se sika no no mo de aye bibi no mo aka che o se enfie miensa ye betua o sika na saa papa yi ode ne sika ni bi ekohye saa bond no mu na okọwiase afa na nyina investment a ubetimi aye a wonim se kenken a ken onsa beka o sika ene se ode o sika abo aban bosia. So bonds are the safest investment anywhere in the world except in Ghana under MPP administration. Enti papay ebe sun chere Ghana for se mesika kakra anka mede me behwe me ho se baby amanye dru no afa me be call pension enti mesika kakra anka na mede to ho se mede behwe me ho no eno ena aban abo me bos abo no bosia echese aban aka se entimi ntuaka enti osu wo TV so aka se onim ne onye biom because nejuma egu ne bibia egu ampara papa no enru afe asa asem ni si papa na ewu na ono ye nipa Ghana fo nim no na enye ono nko a nipa bebre nso ka ho pensioners ai chese omusika na omode to ho se ne be ya omunyi no omko pension omutimi to omundro etimi eto eduani di.
John Mahama is the NDC's presidential candidate. Earlier was TV3's Komla Kluche.
From the camp of the NDC to that of the NPP, where the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, says from next year, Cocoa Board will pay the fees of all Cocoa children to the university level for free. Addressed chiefs, clergy, and Muslim clerics at Odotobri constituency in the Amansie Central Assembly to mark this year's Farmers' Day celebration. Dr. Bawumia is confident this will reduce the burden on parents.
The Yemi Dennis to say, Ushe Kuku Equiafua, first no, na Kuku Board, Emma Omuma scholarships, Omoko Senior High School, Kuku Board scholarships, Kuku Board, Emma Omo, Eco Senior High School, and then free SHS in Inti. Ubiaba Eko Senior High School free. Eninti Abain Afa Adwinse Sikana na yedi tuya Koko Equiafo Umama fees no. From next year, Koko Equiafo Umama Cocoa Board ebe tuya Omu University fees free ama Koko Equiafo Ma. So new policy Ebema Cocoa Equiafo Ma under Cocoa Board Omo program Ebeboa Cocoa Equiafo.
That's the Vice President and NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, speaking there. He'll take us on to our very second break here on News Central. We return to wrap up the bulletin. Right then, that's our bulletin for you today and for the week. I am Mawuena Egbeta.
I'm Keminni Amanor. We'll see you same time Monday. Bye-bye.